joining us on this Friday afternoon to talk politics. And not just any politics, the politics of California. We are facing an affordability crisis in our state. We are fighting against Trump. I think you will hear a lot of those themes here today. But one of the things that I want for all of you to just kind of lean into is, how are the candidates different? Because they're all Democrats, and they're all fighting for your votes. But how we distinguish them is just as important as how they are alike and how they align with your values, California values, and Democratic values. So I am so excited and privileged to be here tonight to welcome to the stage the 9 major gubernatorial candidates for the office of Governor of California. I also want to say hi to my dad, who's watching in the audience over the internet, because we can't accommodate everybody here in the Commonwealth Club, and it's so exciting that we were able to broadcast this via the Commonwealth Club so that as many people as possible can have this kind of access as well. So our first candidate to the stage needs no introduction. I will introduce her though. It's Katie Porter. Katie, come on out. Have a seat. So just as a brief introduction, Katie Porter is a consumer protection attorney and law professor, former member of Congress who famously flipped a red seat in Orange County. She's known for her oversight work and focus on economic accountability. A single mom, 3 kids, trying to juggle a campaign with getting to water polo tournaments. She is also well known for dressing down corporate America with just a marker and a whiteboard. Katie Porter, welcome. So talk a little bit about California's affordability crisis and how your experience as a single mom of 3 has really impacted your view of what we need to do in California.
Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Nancy. So let's talk about affordability. Affordability for me is not a talking point. It's actually been my life's work. So long before I got started in politics, I studied families in bankruptcy. Really the sort of bottom, the toughest place to see that affordability challenge. People push there because of medical debt, cost of living. And then I ran for then Attorney General Kamala Harris, a statewide foreclosure and eviction prevention program. So for me, affordability is not a talking point, it's not a new issue. It is really in many ways the issue, because when families can't take care of themselves, everything else becomes hard, including participating in our democracy. So I think affordability is the touchstone issue, and I don't think we can afford, get it, it's a pun, to nibble around the edges on affordability. So I get it, I push a shopping cart, I say no to $9 boxes of cereal. I know what a gallon of milk costs, both the generic and the name brand. I'll let you guess which one I buy. But we really have to take aim at the big stuff. So what is the big stuff? The big stuff is housing. The big stuff is childcare or elder care. And the big stuff increasingly is healthcare. These are the big expenses. So if you can take down someone's housing, and I have a plan to do this, by 10% or 20%, that's like wiping out a huge swath of their monthly bills in terms of what it does for their budget. So that's why housing is my #1 issue.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. So housing, what is your plan? Because I know that Elizabeth Warren is one of your mentors and that she just recently endorsed you. Congratulations on that endorsement. So what is the plan? What is the plan to take people's housing costs down 10, 20% when in California we have underbuilt by significant margins for a very, very long period of time?
So it's going to be more than one strategy. I think anyone who says it's just one thing, I think that is not how housing works. We've been at this for a while. We've dug ourselves into a hole, and we're going to have to do a lot of things differently. So let me tell you some of my touchstones. 1, time is money. That is absolutely true in housing. The RAND Institute did a terrific study showing that Colorado, a state with good environmental protections, good worker protections, builds apartment housing 22 months, almost 2 years faster than we do. If we could just build at the same speed that they do, that would take 10 we're 20% off the cost of market rate housing apartments. That's huge. That's not $5 extra a week. That is hundreds and hundreds of extra dollars for families. So we have to speed it up. The cost of the interest rate, the cost of the uncertainty of the project, labor goes up, supplies go up. All those things happen when we take too long. Second, we have to innovate on housing. We are the home of innovation. We're so proud of that in California, righteously so. But housing is one of the few things that today, until very, very recently, we were still building today in the same way, with the same materials, with the same kinds of designs that we were 100, 200 years ago. So there's a lot of opportunity to innovate, materials, architecture, but also housing finance needs innovation. So after the foreclosure crisis, people realized we don't want 0% down, we don't want these predatory mortgages. Absolutely, I spent my career fighting those loans. But then we jumped to things like a 20% down payment, which the research is really clear is bigger than it needs to be to create really solid, sustainable homeownership. So we also need to think about things like long-term leases so that people who have raising kids but are also renters can stay in the same neighborhood, can stay near their child care provider, can stay in the same elementary school. So that is going to be a big thing. Every locality in California is going to have to build, is going to have to be part of this. Exactly what that looks like is going to be wildly different. So we've seen San Diego have success with ADUs. My backyard could barely hold a doghouse. I could definitely not fit an ADU back there. So it's going to look different everywhere, but every part and pocket of California needs to be part of the housing solution.
So then, as governor,